All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I actually don't even need these headphones on right now. Welcome back. All right. I don't know why this thing is saying it's... All right. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what was... Not sure what that was, but we are back. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live discussion hangout, April 8th edition. Welcome. This is just kind of a hangout. We streamed yesterday. It went over very, very well. I don't think we're going to get the same viewers we had yesterday. But we had like 200 people in here, which was actually insane. So, yeah, it was really cool to, play something like Resident Evil Director's Cut, which is always fun to play, and get that many views. That was definitely very random. It was like right around like 6 or 7 o'clock, everything started to shoot up into the views. It went from 60 to 70 to 80 to 100, and then we got to 200 people pretty much consistently all the way to the end, which was very surprising. I mean, I've had those viewers before, but only when there's been like, a big Resident Evil release or there's a Resident Evil event happening, stuff like that. So it's cool that people actually came by and they enjoyed it and they stuck around. We did get some new viewers, some new subscribers, and hopefully people actually really enjoyed that because, it was really cool to, see everybody coming out. And we got King Shadow in here. We got member Gwen in here. Gang's talking. What's up? J Chip became a member again. Total, he's been a member for 11 months. Good to see you. Good to see Jado in here too. Gang's talking, like I said. Ari Apocalypse is my favorite Ari live action. As for the CG, I like them all, but my favorite is Degeneration. Degeneration's a great one. And Apocalypse is probably my favorite as well. Ordinary AMD user. We got Angie in here. We got Jeff M in here. Joseph, all our members. Revenant's in here. Yesterday's stream was a lot of fun. I never played the PS5, PSN edition of Resident Evil Director's Cut, so I thought that was a cool little, thing to have up there. And a lot of people are even watching the archives, so I think it's safe to say that, sometimes if you just have a simple title and a simple thumbnail, it will work out. Death Island would have made a good game. That would have been interesting, Maybe it would have been a little bit longer, more time for the characters to do what they got to do. But, when it's an hour and a half movie, sometimes you kind of get, it kind of gets a little condensed down, you know what I mean? I really enjoy the memories video because I can relate to them. I doubt you will do one for RE6, but I don't know. I could, I do have memories with Resident Evil 6, and not all of them are bad, you know what I mean? Between the demo and the midnight launch and, Resident Evil 6 kind of starting the podcast, the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast really started when RE6 came out. So, if anything, I can easily do a memories video on that, I think people just want Resident Evil. It's been a while. Yeah, I mean... I think some people do appreciate the retro streams and stuff like that, which I've always done and rotated on the channel. I remember when Degeneration first came out, I rented it through Netflix DVD mail-in. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I got mine from Walmart. I went out and got the DVD, and shout out to that midnight launch RE6. Well, that's the thing. So if I did the memories, I would pretty much implement that in. So that can easily happen. Maybe this October I can put it out, because I like to kind of put it out near the release of the game or said anniversary of the game. It doesn't have to be like a specific anniversary, but yeah, the memory videos people seem to like. People seem to like the, playing stuff on authentic hardware as well, which is always fun. So, I did the RE5 video on that, and that was really fun. But yeah, I mean, so something like this is kind of where I want to take some, creative steps to do certain things with. And yeah, I mean, this Hangout stream really isn't just about the movies. It could be really about anything. But we'll talk about some of the stuff that's going on with the live action stuff like that. You bought Degeneration at Walmart. Nice. How crazy would it be if you made a RE7 memories video? I could. I do have. Again, I have really good memories kind of surrounding that as well. Just a lot of different. I don't think I had a midnight launch for that, but because I was working at Best Buy at the time and I couldn't go to the midnight launch, but I had my collector's edition pre-ordered at GameStop. My brother went there for me, and that whole collector's edition debacle thing happened where I had to wait a few days. So they sold me the standard version of the game. Then I had to go back and return that version of the game and got my collector's edition. So it was like a big clusterfuck just to get that thing. So yeah, there's potential for pretty much all of those things. And I think a lot of people like to look back. A lot of people are nostalgic about specific moments in Resident Evil history, right? Whether it's games and movies and all different forms of the media. So that's a really good, a good thing to do. It's been nearly 10 years since that game came out. Yeah, I mean, it really has been. It's kind of crazy that we're reaching that point. If RE9 had a midnight release in your area or local GameStop, would you go and film it or go live? That's a good question, boss, for game. To be honest with you, it's very difficult because GameStops are closing left and right. And the problem is that I usually like to get the collector's editions. And the collector's editions up until this point, RE4 Remake, which was the last one 2 years ago, were only exclusive to GameStop here in the States. So the problem is that you can't get them anywhere else. You can't get them from Amazon, you can't get them from Best Buy, you can't get them from Walmart, whatever the case may be, right? Now, the biggest thing that I want to, capture would be, obviously streaming it for the first time that night. But with the midnight launches, they usually don't even have midnight launches anymore. It's usually like, all right, we'll sell it to you at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, right, is usually what they do. So they don't have to sit there for a few hours. They'll do a midnight launch for a Switch or for a console, right? They'll do that. But if they still did it traditionally, boss, for game, I would film it, and I would love to do some kind of video content on it. But what I usually do is I just do the collection updates on it where I show off the collector's edition, make it a part of the collection, and call it a day. Unfortunately, a lot of that has been condensed down into that stuff. We got Alyssa in here. What's going on? Hockey fan, what's up? Quentin's in here. Quentin Gilmore specifically. We got a couple Quentins in the chat usually, but we got one in here right now. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to do one. Maybe I can do a little bit of like a document piece of just like getting it, and stuff like that. Because the problem is that the only collector's edition I've ever nabbed in store was the Resident Evil 7 Collector's Edition. Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake, and 4 Remake, and Village all were shipped from GameStop's website. So, and that's because the pre-orders were... The problem with GameStop is when they had those collector's editions exclusive, and I don't know if they still do after the RE4 debacle where people's pre-orders were getting canceled left and right, and you had to be really lucky to get a pre-order. Essentially, I would always go online because they make it to where they only usually let like 1 or 2 people pre-order the collector's edition per store. So what was happening was that I would go to the store, ask for a pre-order, and they're like, oh no, we already got, like, we're only getting 1 or 2 in. And it's like, well, what's the fucking point? I'm just going to ship it, and they don't charge me until they ship. There's no money down, where when you go into the store, you have to put money down. I think you have to put like $50 down or something like that when it's a collector's edition, or if it's a console, you got to put like, $50 down or a little bit more. So I just started to do them online the last few years, and it's kind of uneventful because I can't film myself going out to the store, making my trek to GameStop and doing all that stuff. But, at the end of the day, it's just kind of the way the times have changed, unfortunately, especially with GameStop being less and less reliable. And, there's less in my area now because they're just closing a lot of stores. But never say never. Never know. If I get lucky and I go into the GameStop that's around and I'm like, oh, I get a pre-order, then yeah, I like to go and get it ASAP. You know what I mean? The good thing about the shipping is sometimes you actually get it shipped to you, sometimes early, sometimes you don't. But regardless, we always would get a digital copy and play that anyway. So I'm double dipping either way. Or Capcom will send me a code the day of, which is really cool. But if it's the midnight before and you're trying to stream, you kind of just have to get the game yourself. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to save GameStop. I don't know about that. Jeff M saying, what about memories for RE4 Wii release or any with RE4 as it's had so many ports over the years, more low-key memories? Yeah, I mean, I did do a Resident Evil 4 remake memory video, I want to say maybe about 3 years ago. Now, it's in the playlist, but I did do one kind of talking about my experience getting Resident Evil 4 and playing the different ports and stuff like that. But there was a lot of memories I have with the other ports. I do have the RE7 Collector's Edition, yes, the rarest one out of all of them in the RE Engine era. Just got RE1 HD mod working, and Rando, so happy. Nice, Joseph. That's a great one to get. Jill is a Misty zombie, and Wesker is Claire CV. That's cool. That's why the mods are funny. Am I the only one who feels like the CGI movies are not canon? I mean, they are canon, Chris, but, I know what you mean, how they sometimes feel a little out there, like they're not a part of it, but they still are. So, but it is what it is. I guess that would have been some good content, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it would have been. It would be, And the thing is, too, truth be told, is that even if I got a collector's edition, they don't do midnight release for games anymore. So even if I got a collector's edition, the video would be me driving to GameStop the next day, the day of release, which at that point I'd already be streaming for 24 hours because I have to stream these games when they come out. And I would just be like, all right, I'm picking it up, and it's it. Where back in the day, it was like there was lines of people, and there was a part of that. Nowadays, you wouldn't get that. You would just get I'm walking in, I'm walking out, Let's see. Brian's back from Orlando. Says had a sneak peek at the Epic Universe at City Walk, and it's looking amazing. Hope for RE to show up in the future. Yeah, you were saying that yesterday, man. I hope so. You never know. What RE game you spent the most time on? It's a good question. I don't even know, but I would have to say probably the original trilogy collectively is probably where I spent most of my time, but the original Resident Evil 4 is a close second. Got any memories of the first Resident Evil live action movie? I do. I do remember seeing that in the theater when it came out and thinking that Alice was Jill the whole time, not knowing. And, she had the red dress, which is that's not Jill's outfit. It's more like Ada's outfit. But I went with my dad and my brother, and I was like, I was in shock that I was seeing a Resident Evil film on the big screen. And I remember my brother was scared, so he had to, like, sit next to my dad because, the zombies and stuff like that would creep him out and everything. And I was just watching it like, this is awesome, and I was a kid, I was way young. But, and then I remember I rented it on VHS, did that, and then rewatched it. And then I realized, oh, this is like, this isn't really connected to anything. Not that I didn't notice that the first time, but I was like, oh, that was pretty cool, like there were some moments, and then you realize, like, oh wait, like this is Alice, and this is, all different. Should the RE movie be more realistic or more campy? It's a good question, Heretic. I would say, I mean, I don't mind a little campiness, but I just want them to have a focus on what they want. And if you want to add campiness around a story, really the story just has to be good, and the characters have to be good. The actors have to have chemistry. So I would want them to play it realistic, but you can have a little bit of, cheesiness in there. Because even with Resident Evil, like, the games that are considered, like, less cheesy, let's be honest, there's always, like, crazy cartoon, like, moments that happen where it's just like, wow, that's pretty goofy, but we just roll with it because we're used to it, I'm nearly a skeleton waiting on Resident Evil 9 with Capcom announcement. Yeah, it's going to be a little while, I think. I mean, we could say June. We could say, fall time for an announcement. I don't know. And the reason why I say June is a possibility, obviously, here's the key moments. June is the month where Microsoft usually has an event. Sony usually has an event, right? We don't have E3 anymore, but they all do state of plays and events, right, live. That's what they do, right? So that's an option. Sony plays nice with Capcom. That's why I say Sony. It could happen at Microsoft, but I doubt it. Usually they've announced this stuff through Sony stuff or their own event, okay? So that's an option. The other option is Tokyo Game Show. The other option is just Capcom having an event somewhere in the summer or somewhere in the fall that will announce Resident Evil 9. So that's kind of where I'm at with, like, what could realistically happen. Getting unexpected error due to the GFX fix. Should have not said. Save to avoid backtracking, but the crash happens instant. Interesting. Those randomizers can be dicey, man. Here's the thought. Perhaps we could I'll do the Suedo Midnight launch on a live Hangout and Discord room on the next RE game release. Might be fun. Jeff M., you might be on to something, man. You're one of those idea mans, aren't you? No. No, I like that. I actually do like that. That's the thing. So that's a good idea, actually, to make it more community driven. But see, the thing is as you know, since 2019, basically RE2 remake onward, me and John jump on here and we are pretty much live for 24 hours the night before. So literally, like, as midnight, or like if we get a code early or whatever, which hasn't happened, honestly, for like a mainline RE game. Have never gotten a code early. Essentially, we start playing usually around like 9 or 10 the night before release. So while I think that is a great idea, Jeff M., and I think that's a really cool idea for some community interaction, the problem is we're usually live, but we're live playing the game. I'm not live kind of talking about, so it's almost like that's a way to kind of experience it together. But I also know that it's very, like, it's a little isolated and separated because a lot of people don't want to watch your stream until they play it themselves. And they don't want to be spoiled. They want to see everything. Some people don't give a shit, but a lot of people have work the next day. They want to wait until they play it. Some of them don't watch my live stream until they come back and play it that weekend, and that's fine too. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like you want to play it because you have to be current and relevant. But I'm up against Row. I'm up against all these other, not up against, but you know what I mean. In the algorithm, every Resident Evil channel is streaming it the night before into midnight, into the day. Also, every gaming channel is playing Resident Evil, even the not. So it's just a lot of saturation within that. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? And then if I don't go live, people are like, where's your live stream? All that stuff. Now, with Resident Evil 4, it was a little different because we got Resident Evil 4 Remake early because Walmart fucked up and sold it on the Tuesday before the game came out. So I technically didn't even have a midnight launch. I basically got the game, recorded a offline complete playthrough, just me and the microphone and the game, cut that up, put out the episodes. I put out the first episode the day of release, and then I streamed the hardcore mode with me and John. So that was a little bit different because, you know, Walmart was fucked up. And guess what? Shout out to Mountain Arts and Purple Herb, same guy. He's the one who made me literally quit my stream. I was going to play RE2 Remake, and then I was going to do RE3 Remake, and it was going to lead nicely into RE4. No, instead, that night, I had to go to Walmart, and then me and John basically had to get our hands on a copy of Resident Evil 4 Remake. So that was a little different, little different approach. Let's see. Yeah, I put so many hours in RE4. Yeah, probably thousands, boss. I can't find the exact. I'd have to go back and add it. My brother rented Resident Evil from Blockbuster, and I was like 6 or 7, and I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I mean, I rented it from Hometown Video, and I was like, this is awesome, you know, after I saw it. Wolfboy, what's going on? Another member in here. Either Sony or Nintendo event for Resident Evil. I don't know if they would do Nintendo for a new release, unless it is a exclusive. But I think if you see a Capcom or Resident Evil thing at Nintendo, I think it's going to be for the ports to bring over to the Switch 2. I have subbed to Namshku to be able to use the RE2 remake randomizer, just over 5 UK pounds. Oh, okay, that's nice. Playing the game is cooler by far. Yeah, I mean, again, Jeff M, I don't you know, think any of these ideas are bad. I definitely think that, like, if I was actually going to a launch, I would live stream it. I would do like an IRL stream. So if they were still around, I'd be like, great, you know? Because I remember when John picked up his copy of Resident Evil 2, he went to GameStop, got it a little bit earlier before they closed, and he brought that over to my house, and we played Resident Evil 2, and then my collector's edition shipped like the next day while we were still playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, and then it came out, so then I had, like, you know, the full thing. So thank you, Route 73 Walmart, says Stevie Mac. I didn't even get it from that one, bro. I had to get it not Williamstown Walmart. It might have been up by John's old apartment. We tried the Williamstown Walmart, and then they canceled it. Then I had to go somewhere else and do it. Like, it was, we got it, but it was all over the place. What if y'all did a community review of the game on Discord? Like, you can stream your review, and every now and then you can have someone get into the call and say their opinion. Well, I think it would be awesome, really, whether it's recorded or not, to do a hangout maybe that weekend. To Jeff M's point, I think maybe we could do something that weekend where we can do like a live Discord roundtable kind of, like, or I can pull people in, like host a community, and when I host a community, I can drag people in and out of the call, and I can drag everybody in that wants to talk about it. It doesn't have to be live or recorded for content. It could just be like, you know, a members kind of thing. If you're a member, you can jump in, or maybe I could do it for non-members, but I do like to create member incentives. So let's see, I'm just catching up on all the comments here. But yeah, I like Jeff M and J Chip's point. I think that's a great, like, option to do some kind of community, like, weekend release. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Idea for Leon's story. Leon gets drunk and ends up having PTSD episode, and it'll start with RE2 and blend with Javier and 4, like a fever dream story. Would be like Silent Hill style story for RE. Jesus. He gets drunk and he has a PTSD episode. I mean, that would be some pretty hard liquor. A lot of people want to see Operation Javier. It would have been cool, but like, you know, they just didn't do it. They just did separate ways, and that's it. Just found out I have a what's up, Brandon? Just found out I had an English neighbor. My dog out of the fence, and he chased him with a bit of wood and got out. God damn. Is it the one to the left of your house, Brandon? Or to the right? Well, I'm assuming it's the one if you're facing your house to the right. Quillen, what's going on? He says, how you keeping? I'm keeping good, man. Keeping good. We've done a first person, third person, over the shoulder, fixed camera angles. How has there not been a RE RTS? I don't know. You know what I mean? And it makes me wonder, like, you know, when they had Resident Evil Portable, which was supposed to be for the PSP, I wonder what that was going to be. If that was going to be some kind of RTS type of shit, you know? Matt Clyburn, what's going on, man? Good to see you in here. Fellow member in the house. Good point. Great point. Here, some indie developers could make that. Me and Jeff can be the idea guys. I was going to say. No, that is a really good idea. That would be cool if we could do something. I'll promise this now, and we'll put this out there into the universe. I don't like doing this unless I'm serious about it, because sometimes when you say stuff, it just never happens. But let's try to do something community driven that weekend. And I know a lot of people work even on weekends nowadays. You know, it's tough depending on people's jobs, and some people won't want to speak about it until they play it. So I guess it's just a matter of like who actually plays Resident Evil 9 or the next remake when it comes out versus like when it's going to be, you know, everyone's going to be able to play it. Not the one I bitched about. Okay, so it's the other one. I wouldn't mind one of the OG RE characters killed in RE9, mostly Chris Red. Damn, Chris McBride says, fuck Chris Redfield. Fuck him. A lot of people have brought that up to me. Like, would I want to see an RE character die, you know? I don't think it will be necessary unless it's really, like, you know, just they're at the end of their rope type of shit. But it would be a fucking, like, divide line all across the fans if they did that. We got Kay in here. Has been a member for 43 months. She's in, like, the top 1% with Jackie Boy, Dave, Thunder's Productions, all these guys. So thank you, Kay, for 43 months of supporting. And it says the CGI movies are way better than the live-action movies. Changed my mind. Hi, Aunt, Callie, and chat. Well, I think the CGI movies are just, in my opinion, just immediately better because it at least explain stuff within the canon. So just by default, it has to happen. Quentin Gilmore says a sacrifice. Well, you know, it would be kind of interesting. Oh, also, I got to show you guys something. Hold on. That's right. That's right, chat room. That's right. I'm hitting the mic. That's right. We got the Ghetto Zapper. It's here. Now, I am going to be playing Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. Not for the first time in my lifetime, but the first time I'm going to be streaming it on the channel and completing it all over again. And I call this the Ghetto Zapper because this is not the real one, but this is what they sell on Amazon. They're like mock-ups, basically. Like, but it works. It's the same. It's literally a hunk of plastic. You know, the real controller still has to go in on top. You got the analog right here on the back, or the what is this called? The nunchuck. I don't even know what they call it. The nunchuck. So, nunchuck. And, yeah. And then I got two of them. So I can actually, you know, I can play House of the Dead and be like, you know. So, yeah. This is going to be fun to mess around with. but obviously I've been in a big RE4 mood because it is the 20th year of Resident Evil 4, the original. We are celebrating big time, and yeah, I thought it would be cool to do a Wii edition of Resident Evil 4. And, again, this is something where I am kind of leading up to a big Resident Evil 4 video this year. So I've been working on it since the beginning of this year, slowly but surely, writing out the script, getting my shit together, and it's taking longer, but it will be coming out. So all this RE4 content is for good reason, but it's also fun. A lot of you guys liked the original hardware GameCube stream that I did in the beginning of the year, where I played Resident Evil 4 on a GameCube as is. And yeah, so we're going to be doing that. It's too late to kill off someone of the OGs, Stevie Mac says. I would just feel like cheap to me. Yeah, I mean, if they were going to do it, I feel like they probably would have done it already, right? Chris thinks Redfield's overused, plus Leon would take his place if Chris died. I mean, it's all a matter of what you like, man. Some people say Leon's overused. Some people say Chris is overused. Some people don't like Chris because his design keeps getting fucked around. That's not Chris's fault. Blame Capcom for that one. Give Barry a run for his money with that beast. Oh, yeah. Remember when you used to come over and train like Leon just to be fit to play RE4 on Wii? Yes, exactly. I remember Brandon had it on the Wii, and that was the first time I actually played RE4, and I had to help him I helped you with Krauser, I think, right? And then I remember we had to shoot the metal plates off of Ashley, and we kept killing her. So that was fun. But yeah, I played this version at Brandon's house first because I didn't have a Wii. So I remember, Brandon, I know Brandon probably remembers this, but I remember when you couldn't find a Wii forever. And I didn't get a Wii until 2013, 2014. Shout out to my friend Joe Bacella. He gave it to me as a birthday gift. It was very nice of him. And he gave me the Wii. And I've had one ever since. It's a hacked Wii, of course. You have to hack it. And that's when I got one. But I remember shopping around all morning, all afternoon for a Wii with Brandon and his parents. And we were looking all over. Target, sold out. Walmart, sold out. Like, you could not find these things anywhere. Anywhere. And they were a hot commodity, obviously. The gimmick, the motion controls, everybody wanted one. So I didn't get one until later, and then I was able to, like, finally play, but I've never done a Resident Evil 4 Wii version stream. And it looks just like the GameCube version. The graphics aren't, like, improved really from the GameCube version because the Wii's graphics are pretty much, it's like a GameCube, but with motion controls. It's not like it's anything that's like, it is a little bit advanced, but it's not, completely, I don't know. They got comfortable with the graphics being not as up to par with the competitors. And now they're finally doing that with the Switch 2. They're trying to get better with their graphics. That takes me way back, says George. You have to turn the ghetto zapper sideways, grab the crotches, brace yourself, fool. Oh, yeah. Do you have the Nyko perfect shot for the Wii? No, what is that? What's the perfect shot? You ever play the Zelda crossbow game with that? No, I haven't. Yeah, my mom found one and treated it better than her kids until Mario Party does. Mario Party and Mario Kart does destroy families. That and I think like old school Monopoly, those are like the top three that can destroy families, You can play Resident Evil 4 with the GameCube controller. Yes, you can. So, yeah, if you plug the GameCube controller into the Wii itself, you can just play. But, if I stream it, it'd be fun to just be like, bop, 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 bop. And it's also the easiest way. You could just do the target practice. You could just be like, shh, shh, shh. Because, Leon's shaky hand isn't doing this just by aiming. You can just be like, So, Enjoy the stream and chat. Work again tomorrow, and happy birthday, RE4. Yeah, I mean, RE4 turned 20 in January, but this whole year is a celebration of the 20th anniversary of RE4 in my head. So if you're heading out, Joseph, you take care, man. The Nyko Perfect Shot is like the Wii Zapper, but the mold is a handgun. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. I've seen them before. But yeah, so this little hunk of plastic, it will serve us right. You know, obviously you still have to like kind of have your thumb up to like, you know, click A and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm right-handed, so I would hold it like this, I guess. Bryant's back. Marvin says, you're showing us how goofy the ghetto zapper is, but you still got to remember that Wesker died from a door. I mean, how can I forget Resident Evil, the final chapter? I don't think any of us will forget predictive combat software, 100% activated. That is iconic Paul Anderson fuckery. And now Paul Anderson's coming out with a movie he's directing with Mila Jovovich and Dave Bautista. Is this what I've been hearing? It's like a mixture of like all these other movies and shit like that. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see. I know it's coming out. I don't know if it's some kind of like fighting movie or something like that. Let me see if I can look it up real quick, just because it's just for the shits and giggles. Mila Jovovich. Here it is. Wait, is this it? Yeah, here it is. Yo. There's no way, bro. There's no way. I'm sorry. Let me pull up this fucking poster. I'm going to pull this up. It's called In the Lost Lands. And who would have known? It's by Constantine Films. It's Sony. It's directed by Paul Anderson. Okay. Where the fuck did this save to? Is this in my downloads? Hold on. I got to pull this up. Let's see if this... There you go. There's the poster. In the land of the lost, boys. In the land of the lost. Directed by Paul Worthless Shit Anderson. And you got Mila Jovovich and Dave fucking Bautista doing Batista bomb. This looks like... Let me see. Okay. Okay, so... Mila Jovovich is a witch. Dave Bautista is a hunter whose journey into a dangerous landscape to find an artifact for a queen. And it's based off of the George R.R. Martin story, In the Lost Lands. The story... The screenplay is by Konstantin Werner. Werner? What did he write? I don't even know. This was filmed in 2022. Well, what the fuck have they been doing waiting for this shit to come out? As Dave Bautista and her, I don't know who Arlie Jover is. I don't know who the fuck this is. She's from the first Blade movie. Alice Goes Country. Dude, what the fuck is this? This looks horrible. What's the budget? Oh, it already came out. What the fuck? Okay, so the budget was $55 million. It only made $4.8 million. What the fuck happened to this movie? 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. They delayed this film too. Wow, so it flopped. It's based off of like a story or a short story. But it already came out in a flop. I thought this thing was coming out. It's like, no, it came out March 7th. So it came out a month ago. This thing's not even in theaters. I saw no promotion for it. And it made less than $5 million on a $55 million budget. That's fucking tremendous. All right, let's see here. Yeah, summer events are close, man. It's the guy who played Wesker, Sean Roberts, must have taken the door kill personally because how he's roided out now. Yeah, he probably took it really personally. Paul Anderson with Mortal Kombat 3 sequel to Annihilation. Just kidding. That probably would have been better than the last Mortal Kombat movie. Ant Ramblin' while sitting in a chair holding the Wii with one hand, mob leader vibes. He's doing the House of the Dead movie too. Oh God. What's up, Abdul says, what's up, Anthony? Did you know that you really have to play the game to experience it? Pre-RE Village interviews were something else. Yeah. To experience the game, you really have to play the game. It's like no fucking shit. Sean Roberts and Eric would be interesting chat. Just two bros slamming gains. Oh, dude, you got to get that poster hung up somewhere in the house. I know, right? This is like the best poster I've ever seen. All right, enough of this bullshit. I'm going to take this shit off now. Also, some fun to be had with the drinking games with buddies. Yeah, I mean, that's like I don't even know what the hell that is. Batista is Jovich's bodyguard in the movie, and he has to fight off all the simps. Paul Anderson's the final boss. We got to watch that in Discord. We could. I mean, I would not pay for that. I would get it in other ways, but I would not pay for that fucking movie. I thought it was something coming out, and I'm like, oh shit, it already came out. Mila Jovovich. I've ever seen a short press tour bit on YouTube, and it did a terrible job selling it. Yeah, I'm sure. Resident Evil 9 next. Villain is a bunch of doors. Yeah, it's just the door chamber. Just keeps slapping down there. Alice Goes Country. There you go. Action. Here you go, live action fans. Yeah, I don't know what the hell what that is, and why it didn't make any money. I know why it probably made no money, because it probably fucking sucks. Yeah, it was put out by Constantine Films. I don't know what the hell they're doing nowadays. Paul Anderson's just like, yeah, I'll just do whatever, man. Monster Hunter was a terrible movie as well. Yeah, it just wasn't that good. What do you think really is going to be the next RE game that comes out? I think they might do a remake before we get 9, potentially, but they did do a Monster Hunter movie. It came out during lockdown, so there was no movies open to really screen it, and then it didn't make any money. But Paul Anderson directed it, Mila Jovovich starred in it, big surprise, and and Ron Perlman's dumbass was in it. I mean, the best weapon in RE7 is closing the door on the molded. That is true. I don't know if RE9's actually releasing this year. I don't know. I think they could announce it, but I don't know if it's going to come out this year. I doubt it. Did you say Monster Hunter? I feel the rage building inside every time I think about it. Look, there's some cool aspects of the movie, but like it's a 5 out of 10 at best. Like it's not a good movie. Imagine if Rob Zombie did an RE movie. You'll get Leon fighting G, Freebird, and Jill would be getting beaten down by Big Papa. What the fuck? Yeah, everyone will have beards down to their fucking nutsack, and yeah, it would just be a bunch of fucks and shits and all that stuff. I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. 2 zappers, bitch. Double the fun. You know what that means? I can play Dead Space Extraction on the Wii. Negative 1.2 at best. Thought the Monster Hunter movie was okay, not great, but decent enough. So you think 5 Remake will be the next game? 5 Remake could be the next game. Look, I think they're working on multiple RE games at once. What we see next is yet to be, announced, but I don't know. I think there could be an announcement this year for a game that's coming out next year. I don't think they're going to announce it this year, and they're like, oh, it's coming out in the fall time. You got too much shit coming out in the fall. And you also have GTA 6. I think a remake before 9, but we've been so dry for news lately, it's hard telling. I'm surprised Capcom hasn't announced any RE things coming to Switch. Not yet. I know they will. They will. Seems like Mila and her hubby are continually making worse movies each release. I mean, yeah, it's only been downhill since Final Chapter wasn't where it started, but yeah, they've yet to have a predictive combat software. Resident Evil meets Wrong Turn. Oh, man. I think it gets announced in June, release it for October, comes out late winter or early spring. Yeah, that could happen. Brennan says, Headspace Erection. Are there pistol pairings in any RE? Are there pistol pairings in any RE game? Pistol pairings? What do you mean? There's the double pistol in RE6. Is there a future with... Well, there will be a future with the Revelations series. I miss Alex Wesker. I hope so. I hope they return to the spinoffs. They've been doing this whole, like remake mainline, all that shit. So, oh shit, that's what this does. So you can actually put the cable. I'll buy it at a high price. See if I can. So it does have this comes off, and you can put the nunchuck wire through here. This is pretty dope. Oh. All right, we got this. I mean, it's not going to sit perfectly in here, but just enough to where it can plug into there. All right. I mean, it's not perfectly all hidden. I could probably put the excess stuff in there, but there you go. I'm really behind. Or I'm really bricked up about Onimusha Way of this. Yeah, Onimusha is gonna be awesome. It's one of the biggest hype games coming out in the next year or so. Definitely excited. Yeah, I can't wait for that, man. When do we get Resident Evil 1, the prequel to 0? Could be next year. That's the thing. Next year is the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. Who knows what we will see? Oh, you can just wrap it around. That's what I'm going to do, chat room. there's less excess. There we go. That's a lot more clean. So the nunchuck plugs in to there. The strap is whatever. I could just put that there, and there you go. So you got your nunchuck. It's a little annoying because that comes out there, but like that's still fine. That's still better. Really, remake, remastered, since it's already a remake. It's a remake of the remake. Fresh off work. Hope everyone is doing well. What's up, Maine? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing good. I want the next remake to be Resident Evil 0, 1, Code Veronica, 5, and 6, says Wolfboy. Well, I don't know if we're going to get all of them, but I can say that I think a 0 and 1 might be together, or 0 might be DLC for one remake, or however they spin it. I think we're definitely going to be getting a remake. Now, will I still say that Resident Evil Remake 2002 is the perfect remake? Yes, I will. But I will still enjoy it, you know? And I just think, and you guys are going to see the tier list video coming out, and I think it's just safe to say that there is inconsistencies with 0 and remake currently that can be definitely fixed. You know what I mean? And I think that's the time to do it if you're going to do it, you know? I wonder what they'll call RE1 remake, or I'm sorry, what they'll call RE1 remake. I'm assuming all the marketing will just be Resident Evil, and they'll be known as Resident Evil 2026. Jeff M, I think what they'll call it is Resident Evil 1. So it's just like Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4. Like all the remakes will have that number. They could just call it Resident Evil 2026, or like, you know, not put 2026 in the title, but it'll be called Resident Evil, and then it will just be known as Resident Evil 2026, like how remake is Resident Evil 2002. So they could do that. If they did remake RE1, they should add lore to RE0, making Rebecca the focus. I think they can. I meant to say RE0 remake remaster, which basically is a remake of a remake. Yes, basically. Please retcon 0 for the love of RE. Damn, you don't like 0? I don't think 0 needs to be like completely retconned. I do like aspects of 0 a lot, actually. I think that could work if it was like built in better, and like it seems a little more throwaway with them connecting it, where now if they remade it, they can connect it very, very much more consistently. Why do we need a RE1 remake? Will we need a RE1 remake RRR a few years too? I know. When does it end, right? Will the remake run dry eventually? Yes, I think it will. I think we're in an era right now where we have to be grateful that we're getting good remakes. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Some people will say the remakes are worse, better, you know, whatever you want. But I would hope that these will be it. They won't have to remake these games again, considering, you know, unless they'll just remake them 20 years from now. RE1 is the easiest. Just want it to be easily differentiated from the others. Well, that's the thing too. I think just seeing the perspective of the mansion over the shoulder will be interesting. You know, maybe we'll actually get an ending where everybody escapes on the heli, because that's yet to be seen in both the original and the remake. Scythe says, it's funny that Rebecca was a badass in RE0, but coward in RE1. Gotta fix that. Yeah, like, she's acting like she didn't just go through what she went through, because, again, nothing lines up or makes sense, and that's what can easily be fixable in a remake. RE Part Uno. Where is the Silent Hill 2 movie? I don't know. Someone was asking about that yesterday in the chat, and I don't know. I know it's like shot. I'm pretty sure they've wrapped up production. I just don't know when it's coming out. Kay is waiting for the RE7 remake. Yeah. Yeah, what happens then, right? Yeah, we haven't heard about it. I mean, I haven't seen a trailer or anything. I feel like if we had a trailer, everybody would be reacting to it. But yeah, my RE tier list video is going to be very interesting. I think a lot of people are gonna get so mad. Oh my god, they're gonna get so mad. You guys will be fine, but I think everybody's guilty of clicking a tier list video and immediately going to the end and seeing where people rank everything. So I have to like edit it in a way where I'm like, before this video continues, I know you're gonna want to go at the end and look at my tier list, but just know you're missing out on my explanation as to why I'm placing it there. And you know, it's coming from a fair and honest place, and we can agree to disagree, and it's going to piss people off, no matter what. Even if it's subjective, it's my own opinion. You know, it's going to be just, yeah, it's going to be a big video. Hopefully, it's going to be a big video for the channel. It's going to get, hopefully, you know, out there to many people. I'm more excited for the Silent Hill 3 remake. That will be cool, man. RE5 remake is still up there above all. Whether there is co-op in the game is going to make my decision. If it isn't, then screw them. I think they'll do RE5 with co-op. And my little, like, guess to be, like, how they could test out something like co-op is if Remake 1 and 0 come out next year and you play RE0 and that section of RE0, that whole section is co-op, and they can test out like a co-op feature. Because 0 originally had the partner system before you can actually, you know, play with people online. I know there's mods nowadays where you can actually play with a second person as Billy, which is fucking cool. But now they should test out the co-op in 0 and then bring it over to 5. But that's just a wild guess. My opinion is we get RE1 remake into Code Veronica, RE5 remake, so newer fans understand the feud. So I understand. So Scythe, I know this is a thing that goes on, but I don't think people need Code Veronica and 1 remake to know what's going on in RE5 remake, because RE4 remake already set up Wesker perfectly, and fans already know that he has a feud with Chris going all the way back, right? Fans that don't know, well, guess what? Just like how you didn't know about Krauser, they fed you all that information in like a little bit of a conversation. You just know there's a feud. So I disagree respectfully that we don't need 1 in Code Veronica before 5 for fans to understand what's going on. If you know Wesker, you know Wesker. If you're a fan that just came in from RE7, never played anything before, sure, you might not know about Wesker, but RE4 remake, guess what? Wesker showed up, and people that played RE4 remake were like, I never played Resident Evil 1. This is just Wesker. You just knew that it was Wesker. So in my opinion, if you could do it in RE4 remake and have Wesker actually be a part of the game, he's not just in separate ways, he's in the fucking game, that says everything you need to know. They put Wesker in there not even explaining who this guy is from RE1, because in this remake timeline there is not Resident Evil 1. You can count that because technically it's still canon, but they were able to still explain it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, if that was the logic, oh, we can't show Wesker because fans won't know, so let's take Wesker out of RE4. No, they were like, let's just put him in RE4. People will understand that this guy means fucking business and he's a villain. And they set up RE5 with the boat and everything at the end of RE4 remake with separate ways. And he took Krauser's body to get samples to lead to Ouroboros. This is all lining up. And I think Capcom did it beautifully, honestly. But that's just my take on it. And again, if you disagree, that's fine. But That's just my opinion. I that's been my response to anybody that has said that. I understand, but also, you know what I mean. The director said he fully finished Return to Silent Hill a few months ago. Guess they're having problems getting it actually published. Yeah, or maybe like what studio's putting it out or what time of year. I mean, if I were them, just put it out by Halloween. Just put it out October. You know what I mean? Market it now. Get a trailer out there. Get a date. Put it out for Halloween. Silent Hill 4, the Room remake. That would be cool. Mars says, drop those likes. Hit that like button. Hell yeah, guys. I like to get more games from the Silent Hill series that match the quality of Silent Hill 2 Remake. Well, it's going to be hard because I think Silent Hill 2 Remake is one of the best Silent Hill games ever made, in my opinion, because of just how modernized it is. It's updated and stuff like that. I still love the original trilogy plus 4, but it's going to be hard because if you play Downpour and Homecoming, they're nowhere near Silent Hill 2 Remake, and those are the games that came before it. Oh, I agree, Anthony. I was just saying what Capcom would do. I honestly wouldn't touch RE1. I'd just do Code Veronica and then RE5. That's fair. Wait till the fans discover Tricell. Yeah, exactly. The not so Umbrella, but still Umbrella. But it's almost like Umbrella just never went away. They just kept naming it something different. And, they killed Umbrella in RE4 in the beginning without showing you anything. Just like, oh, stocks crashed and Umbrella was finished. It was never really done. It just kept going. They need to port or post. They need to do post RE Engine Resident Evil 1, not the GameCube remake of the original. Well, that's what I think they're getting. I think they're getting to that point where we'll get a RE1 remake, whatever you want to call it, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2026, or whatever year it comes out. And it'll be in the RE Engine, Let's see. Mars says, not sure if any of you are familiar with Jada Toys, but one of their representatives said in an interview that they wanted to make Resident Evil figures, but there's no room to make money off of them. Really? I find that really hard to believe that would be the case. But, I don't know. I mean, Resident Evil fans do buy everything up, that's for sure. I wanted Resident Evil Code Veronica remake, says Rans Leon. Well, I think it's going to happen at some point. I just don't believe it's going to be the next remake. I've had people tell me, like, oh, I've got inside information. Capcom's told me it's Resident Evil Code Veronica. I think all that shit's bullshit, and I don't think it's happening right now. Well, again, never say never. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but they should make a movie on the Umbrella trials. Shows the court case that went down since the major plot point in the timeline. That would be interesting. I don't know if they should do like a whole movie just on that, but maybe if they had like, kind of like a courtroom movie. So like you see the trial, but then it cuts to like different moments in Resident Evil and it shows you that. That would be very interesting. That'd be an interesting take, We need an OG trilogy remaster similar to what they did for Tomb Raider. Leonard, I do agree. I think that should happen. I think for the 30th anniversary, that should happen. I mean, just me playing Resident Evil Director's Cut on the PS5 yesterday, like I was saying at the top of the stream, I got literally at 6 p.m. onward, my views went from 100 live viewers to 200 live viewers. We had 200 people in here just watching me play Resident Evil Director's Cut. I don't know if it's because I titled it PS5 and people were like, oh, it's on the PS5 now. People didn't know. I don't know what happened. I was just sitting here, and then all of a sudden Lucius comes in. He's like, yo, we got over 100 people in here. And I look, I'm like, really? And there was over 100 people in here. Then next thing you know, there's 200 people in here. So people want to see that, Yeah, exactly. Like how Gears Judgment was. Exactly, Brandon. Yep. And Siphon Filter 3 was the same thing, right? They had everybody on trial, and they were kind of explaining their case, and it was flashing back to different missions. So yeah, that's a good point too. Love to see an Outlast movie. Well, that would be all found footage. So Capcom are strict with their licensing. You make $5 and they'll make their 20. That is fair. I didn't think about that, right? Because it's like you obviously have to pay the big dog, and then the profit and everything that you actually make might not be worth the production. So I see that. Because all the NECA figures are really expensive if they're, sealed or in the box. I love Ari, but screw the remakes for now. We need to wrap up certain OG character arcs because they aren't getting younger. Mainly need a wrap up of Leon and Ada. I get that point, Scythe. I think there's still room for these mainline games, specifically 9 onward, to focus on our OG characters, or if they're going to start wrapping up their stories. I'm all for new characters. I understand people wanted some new characters. I get it. But I do agree. I think they have to start at least, wrapping up something. So people are desperate for Ari right now. The itch needs to be scratched. That's true. Blue Bomber, what's up? I always thought an interesting way to do Ari movie would be by doing it as found footage, though, through body cam. That would be very interesting. Yeah, that's it would definitely turn some heads, quite literally. People would be like, really? They're going that direction? Kind of like the Friday the 13th live action movie that they were live action. Friday the 13th found footage movie that they were teasing for a little while, where they're like, how the fuck is that going to work? Where it was going to be through Jason's perspective or something like that. It's like, what the hell were they going to do there? But with Resident Evil, that would be very interesting. It'd all be through SWAT body cam footage or some shit. RE2 remake was great, says Marvin, but also fucked up the original Resident Evil timeline. It's the timeline going right after RE6 or Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't know how to feel about Resident Evil reboot. Oh, the movie? Well, yeah, we don't really know what's going on with the reboot. The S.T.A.R.S team body cam going into the Spencer Mansion, kind of like one segment in the latest VHS. Yeah, I mean, that would be very interesting and unique, Matthew Webster, what's up? Just called it Resident Evil Biohazard or Biohazard Resident Evil, depending on the location. Are you talking about RE1 or the next Resident Evil? Matthew Webster. They should make each game story in RE series into a TV show format. Well, I know we've talked about it before, but yeah, I mean they could have went the TV show approach and just been like, hey, by the way, we're just doing it where each season is going through the games and stuff like that. That'd probably be the best way to go about it, because you have time per episode to explain what is going on. But it also can suffer from that too, So we're going to get the new Ari movie in a hospital, so the leak about RE9 was actually the new movie. Got it. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. The reboot, essentially, like I did on my videos that you guys probably watched, was just this character Brian is trying to get to this hospital, delivering a package. It seems to just literally be like Resident Evil with by name only, and then they're just kind of doing its own thing. We don't have this confirmed yet. We don't know. I want Zach Krager's Resident Evil to be good. You know what I mean? I want it to be good. As a fan, I would like something like that to be good. But until we actually know what they're doing and the official synopsis is out, because again, a lot of this stuff is from a quote unquote industry insider, so we don't know necessarily what they're doing yet. But if we can take what they're doing for face value, it's just another self-contained story that has nothing to do with the games, that is called Resident Evil, that is going to take elements from X, Y, and Z games, take your pick, and it's going to blend them all together. And that's what it seems like it's doing, Resident Evil From Zero should be the title. Easy way to reboot it. I mean, hey, it's better than Linkin Park's album. Nothing is official confirmed, but at Resident Evil 9 or a reboot movie. Nothing is officially confirmed for RE9. We do know the director, though, is the same director from RE7. That's the only official news we know about RE9 to this day. All the leaks, the rumors, the videos, the speculation, it's just speculation. It's false. It's all fake. Resident Evil reboot, we do know, confirmed, it is coming out September of next year. It is coming out, really soon. Like, again, with the film. So the filming has to be this year or next year. And Zach Krager is directing it. Also, we have the character Brian being played by the gentleman from The Walking Dead. And then also Mikey Madison, who just won an Oscar, is apparently approached to play a female character. And I don't think it's any of one of our characters that we know, considering it's doing its own thing. So those are the only official things that we know. As far as plot, story, synopsis, all that shit, we have no idea. Yeah, yep. Record 1 and 2. Those are great movies. Or a series where each episode is based on a different file from the game, obviously expanded upon, but would be interesting jump-off point. That's a good point, man. I think it's a shame that they wasted the Netflix series on something that could have been based off, like you said, files, games, elements of the games, because you're not forcing it in just this hour and 40-minute to 2-hour runtime. You're actually just doing it, as it's supposed to be. Like, just pacing it correctly. Maybe some episodes might not be as eventful, but they're still telling the story. It's just when they try to rush everything and they try to, jam everything down people's throats of like, oh, we got to do this real quickly. This is what we did. Haha, look at the Easter eggs. It's like, take your time with it, Oh, yeah, the story of the reboot for next year. Yeah, I mean, we don't know yet. Heard other rumors that he's not Brian, he's Leon, but who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's the thing, too, because when you look at him, you're like, okay, he could pass as, like, a Leon, I guess. He doesn't look the most identical to Leon, but at least it's not like Leon in Welcome to Raccoon City. Jesus Christ, give me a break. Well, guys, ladies, if they're here, too, I gotta say, I don't know the price of the Switch 2. If they announce an exclusive for the console, I'm game. So, something happened today. To switch gears a little bit. Lucius was in here last night. He told me that, UK pre-orders went up yesterday. And I was like, well, they went up yesterday, huh? I didn't know. I didn't see them, and nobody sent me a link, right? It's cool. Went to Amazon, they weren't available. I wake up today, about to jump in the shower, and all of a sudden, I see a pre-order link for Amazon UK. So, I fucking got one, guys. I'm not going to get my hopes up. It could still get canceled. Unfortunately, Frank from the Game Complainers, he pre-ordered his, and it literally canceled immediately. Perry got one. I think he got 2, actually. It's 1 per account, but I think he might have had... I don't know if he got 2 or 1. I think he just got 1. It was 1 per account, right? So I was trying to see if I could get 2. And when I did, it was like, nope. One per customer. Get back there and fucking check out. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. So I checked out. They don't charge my account until June. It doesn't get here until June 17th. So it does take a couple weeks to get there. A couple years. You imagine that? A couple weeks to get there. So I got it. The total after everything. Again, U.S. tariffs have no effect on the U.K. stuff. The pre-orders are not delayed in the U.K. like they are in the U.S. and Canada. But my total for this is $527.22. And that is with the exchange rate fee, they call it, which is, obviously you're paying a little bit extra because it's coming from another country. So I got one. So, and it's basically going to be Callie's machine. I mean, we're both going to use it, but I basically just want her to get one. That's the biggest thing. And then I'll get one for myself later. Or if I can get another one in the meantime, I don't know. So the pre-order debacle for the Nintendo Switch 2 is a fucking joke. It really is. And that's with Mario Kart. Yeah, so it's the Mario Kart bundle. Yeah, thank you for saying that, Stevie Mac. Mario Kart bundle for 520. What did I say? 527. This doesn't have any personal information on what I'm about to show you, but 527. So, yes. Now, right now, they are sold out on Amazon, but I think they'll get replenished. But basically, if I get this, we'll be fine. I just have to get a different power adapter for the dock, but that's perfectly fine. Yeah, all the tariff BS is a fucking joke. And let me say, and I'm not going to turn this into, anything political or anything like that. We don't talk about that stuff here. You know that. We keep that stuff outside of LTRE. But the obvious inner workings of what's going on outside of our control is going to affect it. So I think in the States, this thing could easily be $600, $650 to $700. So the reason why I'm going through this, rabbit hole of trying to get one is because we're looking out for each other. I want to make sure Callie gets one. I want to make sure Perry, Frank, Fred, Jeff, all of our friends, Ludwin, we got to make sure all of them get one. We got to make sure John gets one. We got to make sure all of our friends that want to get one can hopefully secure one. And when you add more of this shit in the mix of bullshit that is out of our hands, it makes it harder, So is there a tap out price? Someone was asking me, what is your tap out price? And I think for the States, if it goes past $700, holy shit, that's even still too much money. The best thing you could do is throw it on a Best Buy card. That's the best thing you could do, but that's still really fucking annoying. You shouldn't have to put that much on your card when you're expecting, $550 to $600, right? After tax. And now we don't know what it's going to be set at. Canadians' pre-orders were delayed today as well. So, Japanese pre-orders. So, the reason why I'm not getting it from Japan is because it's actually region locked to Japan. You can't bring that back over here and play your games. They said, fuck you. And I think because the yen to R, I think over there, if you wanted to get it, it's $500, I think, maybe $400 something like that. So, yeah, Steve X says, I thought $450 was too much. Japanese PP men don't play with scalpers. They don't. Just keeping up with the day-to-day market shift is insane and exhausting. Exactly, Jeff M. Exactly. And, we never knew this was going to start affecting our gaming shit, but now it is. And it's going to affect all tech. And it's going to affect a bunch of shit. So I will say this. We'll look out for each other. If I am live and I see a link go up, I'm going to send it your way. I'm going to post it in the chat. I'm going to try to help you guys. Now, you guys might be wondering, well, what the fuck? Amazon UK, can I even do that? Will they even ship it to your house? Yes. I've used Amazon UK a handful of times. I've gotten 4Ks. I've gotten, a bunch of stuff from Amazon UK. Never have had an issue ever. Leonard's saying, I think Zero Remake can be good. Just add an item box, make a co-op, get rid of the hook shot, and redesign. Yes, exactly, Leonard, exactly. Not bad, really. Was expecting 700. Yeah, not from the UK. The UK is not going to be affected by it, so that's why I am being, a nutbag and ordering it from there. But, I just built a $2,800 PC last month. My wallet still won't talk to me. Well, yeah, PC building's no joke. And I know that a lot of people, again, they want the newest thing. And, I understand Nintendo fans want it. I want it. I do like the hardware. The hardware looks good, man. It runs the games good. The whole other thing is the pricing of the games being $80 minimum. Some games are $70, some games are $80. And there's no real, Doug Bowser did an interview yesterday, and he's like, oh, well, The price is going to be depending on like what we feel the quality of the game is and all this bullshit. Again, dancing around. So setting up a UK Amazon account, isn't that difficult? No, Jeff M. Honestly, no, I don't think so. So I use my same login as my American account, and it works. You just have to type in amazon.co.uk, sign in with your existing account. If that doesn't work, see if you can create one or link it to it. But I think I just sign in with my same password. And it has separate orders, obviously. So when you go to your orders, like when I sign into my UK account, I see all my past UK orders. The US is completely separate on a separate thing. So it's not that hard. Like all my cards and everything are already saved to my account. So I'm pretty sure you just sign in, but just make sure it's under the UK banner. You don't need a VPN. You don't need anything. You just type in .co.uk, sign in, and when the link goes live. Now, I have Wario64 on my Twitter, so I get notifications for anything and everything that he puts out. And thank God for him, because I caught that thing the minute it went up, and I was checked out a minute later. I had all my stuff ready to go. And they don't charge until June. So even if you don't have the funds right away and it's on Amazon, don't be afraid. Amazon does not charge you. They won't penalize you. Your bank might be like, yo, what the fuck? Did you make that purchase? So in that case, just be on the lookout for that. I know that happened to Perry. It didn't happen to me, but maybe because I used Amazon UK before, so they weren't like, oh, what are you doing? So it already went up on Ruleasy. It went up today on Amazon in the UK. Apparently yesterday and today it already went up and it's sold out. But they do keep replenishing it. So just keep a lookout on Ruleasy. Like I said, try to find some of these affiliated accounts on Twitter or on Discord that tweet out updates like every single time. If you have Twitter, I follow somebody called Wario64. He tweets affiliate links of deals and pre-orders and all cool stuff. He helped us get our consoles in 2020 back during lockdown. And he's just a guy that just, he has people that tweet and links that he tweets and stuff like that. He is on the money with the timing of everything, right? So that's who I would follow. That would be my advice to you. We had the GPU and PS5 scarcely in 2020. Now we get these tariff BS, and it sucks for gaming. Yeah, exactly. You can't catch a break. When there's the other consoles out, you had a whole fucking worldwide lockdown. When this console comes out, you got to deal with the fucking U.S. tariffs bullshit. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about here? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Bro, aren't you going to the UK? Just grab it while you're there. Tell Luke to take you. Well, that's the thing, too. I could, Brandon. That's the thing. I did think about that. And to be honest with you, if I'm over there and I'm able to get one somehow at a game shop and they have it, I can still cancel my pre-order for the UK one. Because if they don't ship it by then, but then I got to come back through customs and it would get through customs. It's just a game console. It's not like it's a fucking, something that you can't bring back. But, you got to be conscious of that where it's like you're traveling with it. What if it gets lost? You got to be careful. So I will be going to the UK literally the day it comes out, I'm flying into the UK. So I could find one over there and bring it back. You're right. That is a possibility, but I'm also not banking on that because I think a lot of the in-person stores are going to be sold out. Especially when there's not a price hike in the UK. UK doesn't have to worry about a price hike. Over here, you could see people literally not even purchase this thing if it's $700 because that's way too much. I mean, look at the fucking PS5 Pro. It's a great console. It's powerful as fuck. My dad has one. That's why we got it for him. But it didn't sell out. It was $700. No one was running out to buy that fucking thing. They were like, oh, fuck that. And that was in stock. So the thing is that it's crazy because over here, you're going to see the pullback from the fans. They're going to say, I don't even want to fucking get this thing. It might not even sell out over here like they think it will if it is the certain price. Because I think everybody, even fans, have to tap out at some point. Matthew Webster with the $3. I was talking about the title for another RE1 remake, says Matthew Webster. Oh, okay. I think they would just call it Resident Evil 1, Matthew Webster. Do you think they're going to do that? Or do you think they're going to just do what you were saying? Revenant says, my overtime is starting. Y'all have a good night. Take care, Revenant. Not sure if I try and get one, but good to know there are options and workarounds for the North American market. The eventual price here in the U.S. will probably be much higher. Well, that's the thing, man. That's why these delays happen. For U.S. and Canada, these delays took place. And I know Stevie Mac was saying this. There is going to be a massive rant on the game complainers this Wednesday. Now, tonight at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Perry and company are going to be over on Gaming After Dark with Noof, Proto Foxy, Iceman, or X-Man. Sorry, not Iceman. That's someone else. X-Man. Iceman. That's somebody else. X-Men. All that stuff. So, yeah, Gaming After Dark over on Noof Nukem's channel. They're going to be doing that at 9:30. I'll be wrapping this up probably around 9. So, I got about 15 more minutes to shoot the shit with you guys. But yeah, just a lot of crap going on right now in gaming. It sucks, guys, because guess what? Tomorrow? Yeah, rip Iceman. I was going to say Iceman passed away, man. Fucking Val Kilmer, dude. Fucking sad, man. He was such a great actor, and I'm happy that his legacy will live on with all the great work that he's done. But yeah, unfortunately, we did lose the real Iceman. Also, was the inspiration for Wesker. So it's like, it's kind of funny that like Val Kilmer is basically Wesker. But not a lot of people know that. But yeah, like Capcom looked at that as inspiration from Top Gun of like, that's our, we're gonna make a character based off Iceman. But yeah, a lot of bullshit. But I was gonna say, tomorrow was supposed to be our pre-order day. Tomorrow was going to be the day that all of us were going to run out like little schoolgirls, jump up and down, try to go to Best Buy, try to go to GameStop to try to pre-order this thing. Tomorrow was supposed to be the day. But because it got delayed, we don't fucking know anything now. We don't know a date. We don't know if it's going to be in April, if it's going to be in May. They're just waiting to reassess, as Nintendo said, the situation, which again, I understand that's not their fault. It's not their fault of who's in charge of all of this going on. But at the same time, we're pissed because we don't have a date. So I went to the UK. Well, I didn't go to the UK, but I went to the UK Amazon and fucking pre-ordered it because I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of not knowing. I'm tired of being anxious about it. I'm tired of people not wondering what the fuck's going on. You know, it's just like it's a fuckery right now. So I just want you guys to know that we have options here. There is options, right? And going to Japan to get one is not a good idea because it's locked to their region. UK is the best scenario. You just need to get a different power supply because obviously it's meant for the UK stuff. You know, the power inverter. You got to get a power inverter if you go to the UK. But anyway, What's up? What are we talking? We're talking about the Switch 2. Aqua Rat, what's up, man? In hindsight, I hope that the tariffs get settled. You know, who knows? They could end and reach a deal, but we'll see. Well, that's the thing. So this thing might not be as crazy as we think with the prices. It might come to a deal, and it might be the same price. It might still be the MSRP, right? If I get a pre-order in the U.S. hockey fan through Best Buy, through GameStop, through Amazon, I'm going to cancel my UK order. You know what I mean? That's the good thing about Amazon. They don't charge, so you could just like have it as a backup and then see how it rolls, you know? Yes. So that is correct, Jeff M. What's up, Kular? What's up, man? And Jeff M says, supposedly Nintendo has 5 to 6 million Switch 2 systems in warehouse in the U.S. for when everything is finally opened up, which makes a higher price really crappy. Yeah, they do. Exactly. So these already have been getting manufactured for the past year, and there is about 5 to 6 million just sitting in a warehouse waiting for that to happen. So that's another thing, right? It's like, what are they going to be priced at? Are we going to get gouged? Are we spending $50 more, $100 more, $150 more? What is it? What's going on? And that's the thing. Gaming on PC and the Steam Deck are in the future for me, says Wolfboy. I think it's always good to have options. I like PC gaming. I like console gaming. I play it all. I'm just a gamer through and throughout, you know? So I agree with everybody. PC is always the best way to play for customization, play how you want to play, saving money because you can get games a lot cheaper. You don't have to pay for an online subscription for anything to play online on PC. That's what's great about PC. But I also like having consoles. I like sitting down on my couch, just kicking back with a controller and playing. So I like it all, you know? So I'm not one of these elitists out there for any, or I'm not a fanboy for any. And we try to drive this home every time on Perry's channel, on Game Complainers, that we're not fanboys. We try to play everything. We try to have an opinion about everything. Not everybody's going to be very, you know, not everyone's going to agree with us every time. But we got options. Exactly, Hockey Fan. We have options. So it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, guys, it's a fucking hunk of plastic. It's just gaming. It's just games. And I know, like, especially with how we rant and how Perry rants on Game Complainers, a lot of people think we take this stuff way too fucking seriously. But you have to understand something is that we're also trying to entertain you guys and amp it up a little bit. You know what I mean? It's almost like a wrestling show. Like, we know, and we're trying to kind of lean into it a little bit, but we also are trying to come at it as a logical standpoint. You know, like when me and Perry and Frank are in a room, like Perry's not sitting there fucking yelling, flipping tables and shit. Like we talk like normal people. You know what I mean? Not saying he flips tables on the fucking show, but you know what I mean? Like it's not like that. But some people might look at our opinions and say, oh, well, they're fucking out of their minds and they don't know what they're talking about. We just try to be as honest, and like how I bring my genuine feelings over here about Resident Evil and, you know, stuff like this where we're kind of talking more of an open discussion about gaming. I just try to be honest, you know what I mean? And yes, sometimes things seem a little iffy as far as, you know, what these companies do. And we do actually get upset and we actually are distraught or like confused as to like what the fuck is going on. But it's just about us being the customer. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does break tables on accident, especially when he's smashing a console with a sledgehammer. But it's just us being passionate. We're just passionate about it. Because I think we open our wallets and we pay for this shit. So when you open your wallets and you pay for it, and you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, you know, I think that's what causes an eruption of, like, rants and, you know, like, taking it a little too far sometimes, because it's like it gives you that like, okay, I have permission now to go apeshit because I spent my money, I spent my time, I played, or I wasted my time. Because if it's a really shitty experience, we're gonna tell you. If we get the Switch 2 and it's a shitty experience, we're gonna tell you. It's just what we like to do as fans. We've been doing this for years on this platform, so we feel a little entitled to be like, okay, we have our space. We have our little circle of people that watch us every week and have a really good time. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of it. I have a funny feeling that Capcom is going to start thinking about the anniversary of RE at big events. Yeah, I think with Capcom, go all out. Give us the remaster collection of the first 3 games on Switch 2, on Xbox, on PlayStation. Give us Switch versions of RE2 Remake, 3 Remake, 4 Remake, 7, and 8. Give us Switch 2 ports of it. Like, go all out, Capcom, for the 30th anniversary on all platforms, everything. Just do the original trilogy. Give us a remake that year. Give us something. Even if it's not Resident Evil 9 for the 30th anniversary, give us something. Because guess what, dude? You know me. I will double, triple, quadruple dip on all these Resident Evil ports and titles. Who would not want to play Resident Evil 4 in 1080-60 on a handheld on the Switch 2? I would want to get that. Because I don't even travel with my Switch. Like, I like to keep it on the dock. Yeah, give us everything or we riot. Yeah. Like, but it's just nice to be like, oh, if I want to bring it upstairs to the bedroom, like I have like RE4, I can just play. Like, that's fucking awesome. So that's what I want. Matthew Webster says, I could see it being RE1 remake, but I could see them doing like RE7 and doing the RE Biohazard combo for the 30th anniversary. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, yeah, something like that, right? Resident Evil Biohazard, Biohazard Resident Evil. I see what you're saying. And again, these milestones are pretty big. And I think they should just go all out. Like, give us a remake like that. Well, a Nintendo Direct, I mean, they could do a Nintendo Direct and announce it there. But, Capcom can also just say, hey, we're having our own event. And guess what? They're coming out on the Switch too. Like, that's all it would take. Like, Capcom, it's not like it has to be at a Nintendo Direct just because it's Nintendo news. Because also, if you guys remember, the Resident Evil Capcom event that they had in 2022, I think it was, when they announced that they were bringing Village and 7 on the Switch, but you have to stream them because the console can't do it, that was at their own event. So they can easily just be like, oh, here it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, Jeff M, exactly. Like, it would be fucking awesome to have Resident Evil 4 Remake on a Switch 2, to play RE2 Remake, 3 Remake, 7, Village, like, just give us it all, man, because then when they come out with the next remake, guess what? There's going to be a Switch 2 version. There's going to be a Switch 2 version of that from the start. Like, you won't have to wait, like, a year or two just to see that happen. You know what I mean? So I think it's very cool that we have that ability because the hardware is better. And I know Nintendo is notorious for also charging high-priced games. This happened in the 90s. You can look at old ads. They've charged $80. They charged $90. They charge, close to $100. It's in the history. So I do understand, and I'm not being ignorant to that. And I was saying that yesterday on my live stream before anybody corrected me. I was like, I understand that Nintendo has charged almost $90-something for Killer Instinct back in the day. They were like, oh, yeah, you want arcade games on your console? Well, you're fucking paying. Give us the money. And I'm not talking about prices from back then and adjusting them for inflation. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It doesn't, because we're here right now. This isn't 1997. This is right now. Okay, so I understand that, like, a lot of this shit is a little dicey, and I know they're leaving it up to the third-party developers, according to Bowser. He's saying, Doug Bowser, he was like, well, we're leaving the prices of the games up to the third-party games up to the third-party developers. So at that point, it's just going to be whatever they charge. Mofos still need a Pro Enhance 2, 3, and 7. Yeah, what the fuck is that about? Where's the Pro Enhance to that? They did Village, but they didn't go back and do 2, 3, and 7. That's fucked up, man. They also announced the Marvel vs. Capcom collection at a Nintendo event last year. Yes, they did. So it could still happen at a Nintendo event. Never say never. I mean, again, they're going to have another Nintendo Direct. I don't know if it's going to be in June after it's released. Because, like I said, usually, like, Nintendo will go in June. And, again, this used to be at E3. You would have a Nintendo panel, but they kind of backed out of E3 the last few years where they weren't even there. They would just do their own live stream direct, which is what ended up becoming the norm once E3 died. You know what I mean? So that's another thing where it's like, I don't know if they're just going to go up in June and be like, oh, we have a few more games to show you, and here's, Resident Evil, and here's, the next Mario game that they didn't show at the last one. They just showed the Donkey Kong stuff, Mario Kart, and all that. I think there's going to be another Mario adventure that follows Odyssey. I think that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to come out this year. Shit, we don't even have a date for Metroid Prime 4. That looks awesome, by the way. Go up to 120 frames. That's fucking dope. But we don't have a release date. Like, that should have been ready to be launched with the console. I understand Mario Kart World is, like, a big thing. But Metroid, dude, like, that is what you should have launched your console with. And they're still making it for the Switch 1. But, I don't know. Because Doug Bowser kind of pulled a Don Matrix and was like, yeah, if it's too expensive, go buy the Switch 1 because you want everybody to be involved. Like, he kind of said that. He'll be like, oh, yeah, go buy an Xbox 360 if you don't want to always be online. We have a console for that. It's called the Xbox 360. It's like, well, you just fucking killed it, man. But yeah. It's kind of crazy, guys. It's a crazy time. It's a crazy time in gaming. As Resident Evil fans, we're just kind of in limbo right now waiting. The only news that I've had to report on you guys has been movie news, so I know that's not anything good. But let me say this too while people are here. Obviously, you guys have been seeing, if you watch Critical Drinker, if you follow Row or any socials, we are putting together another fan film or a fan multi-part series film that has no association with Capcom or the studios, whatever. This is an independent project called Resurrection, a Biohazard Story. Now, this is a big project because we have all the original actor, or most of the original actors coming back to reprise their roles. We have the OG Chris, OG Barry, Wesker, and Rebecca all coming back from the live action cutscenes of RE1. They're all coming back. And it's going to be a really fun project to be a part of. There's a lot of pre-production work and planning that we've all been really deep into these last few months, which has also been taking my time to do my part and help out, being a producer, being a first AD for them. So it is a pretty big opportunity for me as well, and I'm grateful to be a part of the team. But, of course, this is also going to be asking the fans for raising the money, like we did for Keeper's Diary. Like I said, that will all be launched in about a month or so, so you will be seeing the campaign really soon. But I just want to let you guys know that it is happening, and it is going to be up to the fans to make this possible. If we don't get the funds raised, it doesn't happen. If we partially raise it and it doesn't get to its full goal, all that money gets refunded back to everybody, and it just doesn't happen, right? So that is something we are planning on shooting this year in August in Utah. And like I said, I'll be out there for 2 weeks doing my thing and documenting it as well. It'll be vlogged and all that stuff. I'm going to be really documenting my journey. Yeah, it's going to be a fun project. It's going to be a good throwback for a lot of people. And it's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be an interesting project. And, like I said, we're really putting our brains together again to do something really special. And, yeah, I definitely want, I don't know, I really want everybody to obviously, be involved. And even if you can't pledge, I definitely want it to be, just something unique that we do. So that's also going to be happening. You're going to see me promoting that a lot more as we move on. Let's see here. I want to switch one at work party. I was taking a shit when they announced I won. Holy shit. I won a PS4 Pro at a company raffle before, and I gave it to my dad. So, yeah, the ding-dongs that run the companies. I don't know, Stevie Mac. Must be a trip to play RE1 OG as a little kid, then to do RE content with actors after. That's amazing, bro. Crazy journey. Yeah, hockey fan, thank you. I mean, it is kind of nuts to be... Definitely, Matt. I will let you know. Believe me, as soon as we have a date for the launch and everything, I will be letting you guys know about it. I will be talking. I'll be getting people on the show and stuff like that to promote it. Like, we're really going to try to... This is a bigger project, so it will be a bigger ask for some of you because, it is going to be, again, it's still a short project, if you will, but it's a 4-part limited series. So the runtime will be maybe around an hour, give or take. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a longer one. So if you saw the video on Row, or you saw some of the social media posts or the interview on Critical Drinkers show, where Charlie and Greg and Andrew and JJ and I think Linda was on there too, talking about it. So it is kind of nuts, man. It is a pinch me moment for sure, hockey fan, to be working with these talents and to be kind of in the inner workings of this, being part of multiple cogs in the machine to make this thing roll. And, I mean, this is like true independent level stuff. So there's a lot of stuff we're taking that is, again, we're taking creative liberties, but we're also trying to do something different, and it is going to be a lot, I'll be there day one to back it. Really excited to see another true RE story brought to live action. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jeff M. And yeah, hopefully we actually got people's trust with Keeper's Diary, and while this isn't as contained as Keeper's Diary, it's a little bit more broad. It's a bigger, like I said, it's a 4-part series, so it is longer. A lot of people wanted Keeper's Diary to be longer. This is a longer project. You know what I mean? It's going to be 2 weeks of shooting. It's going to be very long days, really extensive, a lot of time, energy, blood, sweat, and literal tears will be going into this project. I'm telling you. And we want to make it beautiful for you guys. You know what I mean? So I'm very just grateful for the opportunity. But Jill's OG actress did not come around, and I honestly don't think she wants to be involved. Let's just say that. I don't think she wants to be. I think she just wants to be on her own. Like Linda as well, who played, the live action Rebecca, she's been found recently. Roe found her and stuff like that, or I don't know who it was exactly. And it took a lot of convincing just to get her to stick with the project. Believe me, I don't want to peel the layers back too far, because some of this stuff is, not to be talked about. But let's just say that, like the fact that we have everybody lined up like we do now is a reason why we're trying to do this right now. Because these actors are older, and a lot of this stuff is physically demanding. I mean, if you saw Greg on the stream, he was doing like the weights and shit like that. These people are taking it pretty fucking seriously, and I respect it. And let me tell you something. Charlie Kraslovsky, because I've only worked with him, I haven't met anybody else and stuff like that, so I can only speak for Charlie. He's just a sweetheart. Just a genuine person. The real deal. It was awesome. It was awesome. And I'll never forget that, man. You know what I mean? I'll never forget that, because he was a trooper, man. I mean, we were literally doing it for nothing. And it was just a beautiful time. And I get a little emotional talking about it, because it's almost like that will never happen again. In that way. Like the first time. In that way. You know what I mean? Because it's like once you move on, like you learn from that experience and you move on, you do other projects. But there is something very special about Keeper's Diary that will never be repeated, because you can't. How can you repeat it? It's a project. You move on from one project, right? You move on. That's it. It's almost like when a movie comes out or an album comes out from a band. Like when they do that, it's that snapshot in time, and it's done. It will never be replicated. It will never be repeated. You can do sequels, you can do follow-ups, but it's just what it is. And so there's something about that is beautiful. And speaking of Keeper's Diary, we got Dwayne Merritt in here, who did the music for Keeper's Diary, and it's going to be doing the music for Resurrection. Welcome in here, man. Linda came into the drinker stream 15 minutes or so before it ended, but she did come in. That's cool. I know the feeling. It's like that nostalgia. Yeah, Dwayne. It's, like that whole week of filming is kind of like a blur, because there was so much that was going into it. We're putting our all into it. 20-hour days, you name it. And this is going to be the same thing with Resurrection. I mean, not the entire team is the same, and there's a lot more people in this process, a lot of moving parts, but you'll always have that memory like the first time playing RE. Very well put. Dwayne and Aquarap put it perfectly. It's nostalgic. It's like the first time playing RE. And yeah, I will never forget it. And I actually have something special coming out that has to do with Keeper's Diary, some of my vlogs and stuff that I took on my way there and stuff like that. It's like a kind of like me documenting it. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's crazy. It's just kind of crazy, man. Like, dreams do come true. Dreams do come true. Even if you got to fucking get broke, stay starving, you know what I mean? I think dreams do come true, man, if you keep at it. Because just when it gets to the worst point is when sometimes you get there, Need to do an RE2 short film. I know, man. I know. A lot of people wanted Andrew to adapt another like Resident Evil 2 file and stuff like that. That isn't what Resurrection is, but I know in Rose's video they kind of did a short little synopsis of the plot. But like I said, this is aiming to be a little bit bigger. A lot of people might have thought, oh, are you guys doing Dino Crisis next? Well, I think Dino Crisis, without giving too much away, I think that is still in the works at some point. That is going to be talked about and planned. But right now, all the focus is on Resurrection. I personally reached out to Charlie first before I told you I got your gun, and now you got to get it signed. I found some display cases. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to get the case signed, I think, because I think signing, I mean, he could sign the barrel, basically, if I wanted him to do that. But the only problem is I can't bring that on a plane. So, yeah, I couldn't. The only way I could get him to physically sign that is if he does a convention here in the States, and I see him and he signs it. So it can happen. It won't be, I can't fly with the airsoft gun, unfortunately. But yes, a case for that will be something that I'll definitely get. And yeah, guys, like I said, it's just a really cool thing to be a part of, and I'm grateful that I was a part of it. And like I said, that will never happen in that same vein again. Resurrection, are we gonna get busted saying trick or treat, motherfucker? What's up, Rambo? Yeah, no, this is a different Resurrection. But yes, so yeah, Resurrection, a Biohazard story, is going to be the next independent fan film project that I will be a part of. And if the funding goes well, we will be filming this last 2 weeks of August. And, you know, I will be not even working Monster Mania in August, which I always do, and I won't be because it's literally the weekend before I have to leave, so I can't even do that. So I'm going to be, you know, going out here to Utah for the first time. And yeah, man, we'll see how it goes. You know, first we got to get the money for it. That's the biggest thing. The funding is the biggest thing. No Busta Rhymes, but we got, you know, Wesker, like I said, OG Wesker coming back. It's called Resurrection for a reason. And, you know, I think this is a wish you luck in that. Thank you, Rambo. Did you see Keeper's Diary, Rambo? I never know if I got your thoughts on it, but, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of cool stuff that we want to do. And I think this is like, hopefully the start of some kind of independent, like, network of RE fans that want to put shit out that the studios don't put out. You know what I mean? And there is a lot of, we haven't announced that yet, Aquarat. We're still working on that. Let's just say every single day we're working on a budget sheet. There's like travel arrangements and stuff. There's Airbnbs, there's flights, there's transportation to and from set. There's a lot that goes into this thing. Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. So I will, you know, be obviously working very hard before and during, because my main meat and potatoes job kind of starts when I'm there, being an assistant director. And when do you think will be the next Dice Lock? Bro, those were so fun. Had me calling into work on payday just to have to tune in. Just to be tuned into your Dice Lock. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate those kind words. I want to do a Dice Lock this month on Resident Evil 3 Remake. I think I said that last night. I don't know if you were in the chat when I said it, but yeah, RE3 Remake, Dice Lock will be coming back. And then I actually think after I do that, I want to do Code Veronica. I saw it. Particularly like the look of the hunter in the one scene. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Rambo. I appreciate that, and thank you for watching it. If you guys did, because again, even if you can't contribute, just watching it helps. You know what I mean? And a lot of people like the hunter scene, so Lewis did a good job on that, and yeah. So you're the assistant director on this, which is awesome. Yes, and it's a big ask. It's a big opportunity. I am grateful to be in the role, but I am like, you know, there's a lot of fucking work. Like, I'm literally making sure that everything is exactly to what Andrew Solo's vision is on that day can happen. So I'm going to be like that guy that is in everybody's ear. Like, all right, guys, so this next scene is going to be blah, 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 blah. Make sure everybody knows their shit. You know, make sure everybody's ready for each scene. Like, being that communication between people on the set. It's going to be a lot. I might need a fucking megaphone or something because my voice will be gone in like 5 days' time. You know, so I'm going to be that annoying guy like, all right, guys, so you have to do it. Like, that's what it probably will be because you're talking a lot like a lot. And you're talking 12 to 15 hour shoot days. I mean, these are going to be crazy days, guys. It might break me. I don't know, but hopefully in a positive way. This might influence a lot of other things I could do in the future. Just have to stay positive. Like I said, I'm very positive that the team can get this past the finish line, that we can get this done. We're all there for each other, so we don't completely lose our sanity. You know what I mean? You got to have a little bit of a break here and there. But that's the way it works. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening, guys, this year. Like I said, stuff I can finally talk about, which is cool. But that's Resurrection. And then before Resurrection, before I get out of here, because I got to wrap this up, in June, we have just coaching youth soccer. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, you can lose your voice really easily, man. June 7th, 2025, over on Resident Evil Challengers channel, I will be doing a 24-hour live stream with Nuji, Nathan, Izzy, over in the UK. I will be flying over. Me and Callie will be going over to the UK for the third time. And I will be doing a 24-hour live stream challenge. We are all going to be playing 12 games. Not each, but together, collectively. 12 games, 4 games a person. 24 hours to beat all of them. Different stipulations, different draws for our games. It's going to be fucking killer. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be over on the Resident Evil Challenger channel. I will be also plugging the shit out of that as well, because we want it to be the biggest and best. They're celebrating 20 years on their channel. That's a huge milestone. I just celebrated 15 this year, and it was awesome. But that's a huge milestone. And, yeah. I'm also super excited for that. Been a fan of them since the beginning days of YouTube. Yeah, that's awesome, Dwayne. He said that, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. And you did a great job on that trailer, man. That trailer that Nuji put together with your music was like chef's kiss. That was amazing. So, again, I'm just happy that we have such great people in this circle, and I've, so many great fans and friends and just everything in between in this network of people. Looking forward to the new movie and what it will be like. I have a feeling that this will be different and will actually be one of the best video game movies of all time. Well, if you're talking about Resurrection, yeah, I hope so. At least as far as a fan film, I hope so. We can do that. Yeah, the 24-hour challenge is going to be awesome, Jeff M. I can't wait. I just can't wait. But and then the meetup is going to be the following Saturday, June 14th. That's going to be the meetup, so they should give the movie rights to you guys. Well, like I said, they'll never give it to just independent folks. They'll always be folks. They'll always give it to the major studios. Of course, they always got to do. But anyway, I do have to get going, guys. It's been 2 hours. Thank you guys so much for hearing me ramble, shoot some shit with the chat. That's why these live hangouts are always fun, because we can just shoot the shit with everybody. Go check out Gaming After Dark podcast. They're about to go live at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time over on Noof Nukem's channel. Our boy Perry is over there with X-Men, Proto Foxy, all that stuff, maybe some other panel members, and of course Noof Nukem's on there. So check them out over there. I'll be live with Game Complainers tomorrow. I will probably also be live on this channel tomorrow as well, before Game Complainers, so I'll be doing some live streams tomorrow, if not Thursday, but we'll see how that works out. But thank you for all the love and support. Thank you, Matthew Webster, for the donation as well, and have a good night, guys. It was great talking to you guys, and we will see you guys very soon. Take care, and have a good night. Peace out.